Hey everybody, it's Dana with CoachDanaInspires.com, and I am excited for today's interview. We have got a fabulous guest. Our guest today is Terry Lancaster, and we're going to be talking about how the story you tell the world can change the world. So we're excited to have you, Terry. Thanks so much. How are you doing today, Terry?
I'm fantastic, Dana. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
I am so glad you're here. That's how I am. I am excited and fantastic. So I'm glad you're here. We're going to talk about storytelling, but in between now and my first burning question, when you talk to your colleagues, your clients, people that are around you, how are they feeling? How are you feeling about moving forward now that it's a year and a half plus of COVID ins and outs? How are you feeling? What's going on?
I work mostly in the car business. Most of my clients, 75, 80% of my business comes from automobile dealerships, and the car business has been an anomaly through all of this COVID stuff. When COVID struck, the car business, a lot of them got shut down. I have a lot of clients in Canada, for instance. They got shut down completely, couldn't do anything. But then a lot of the ones here in the States just took off because people had so at some point the joke in the car business was all the stimulus checks went out. Well, everybody in America had a $1,200 down payment, baby. So we're rocking. So the car business just boomed through all of this, and then the unexpected thing happened. They sold all the cars. So they through all of this, the demand has been so great for cars, and people have been buying cars because they were bored, because they had money, because they couldn't go out to eat restaurants. They could do it on anything else. So they bought cars left and right, and they bought all the cars. Meanwhile, the rest of the world's still shut down. So we don't have the stuff to make new cars. So now then the price of used cars go through the roof. So I've been in the car business 30, 40 years, and nothing like this has ever happened, just because there aren't any cars, and people are having to order cars in advance. So the business environment is challenging for everyone, for every different kind of reason. And when you ask people how they are, everyone has their own story. Everyone has their own unique challenges, as you and I both do.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And that's fascinating. I think in the back of my mind, I knew that was kind of happening in the car business, just because I have a couple of friends that work for dealerships, and people they're waiting for the truck to actually come in and unload their car. They're like waiting. Is that my car? So
Right.
I just find it fascinating. I mean, well, anyway, those were the old days, Terry, and here we are in the new days. So we'll just mosey on down the road. So we want to talk about storytelling and the story that we tell. So what can we as business owners and entrepreneurs do right now to start changing our outlook, start changing the way we do business with storytelling? What can we do?
Well, the only thing, I had this conversation with a client on Friday, and the question is, and the question people have been asking me, and I've been asking, everyone's been curious about since March 13th, 2020, is well, what do we do now? Well, what do we do now? And what do we do now is really the same thing that we've always done. And this is what I told them Friday. I said, the only thing I know how to do is the only thing I know how to do. So I have to keep doing what I'm doing. What else am I going to do? Right. So the only thing I know how to do is to tell the stories. And stories have a couple of components parts. You have to create the content, and you have to make the connections. You have to make the connections. You have to create the content. You have to do it over and over and over and over again. And now the results may not be A, B, C. This leads to this, leads to this. Like maybe it happened in 2019. I met someone. I introduced myself, told them what to sell, and they bought something. Bing, bang, boom. But maybe now things are different, and my business model has changed 4 times since COVID starts. Everyone's doing everything they can, because all you can do is all you can do. But all you can do is enough. You just have to actually do it. So if I'm telling everyone what to do what you know to do what you know needs to be done, but actually do it and be more intentional about it, and concentrate on doing it with other people.
Oh, and I think that's so true. I love the way you just said it. Do it.
Yeah.
You have, because you can sit around and mope, and you can be sad that this has happened, or, oh, you lost that business, or you can't do this anymore because of the situation with COVID. But if you can do something, I think that's where people are kind of getting lost sometimes, is they kind of like, well, until this opens up, I'm just going to sit here and wait. Or, so we've got to take action. Absolutely. Thank you, Terry, for a great reminder, because I think we really need that. Your bio says that you are a storyteller. So now I'm just going to believe that, Terry. I'm just believing that you're a storyteller. I don't know why I feel that way. So what do you mean by a story, and how do we tell them? What's the point here? Tell us about that.
So, well, my wife tells me instantly that just means that I'm full of crap. So, or beep that or whatever you need to do. So my wife, my wife is immune to my charms, by the way. But story. The funny thing is, I'm a marketing guy. I've been in marketing my entire life, and I hear all of this. The big buzzword a few years ago got to be branding, and then even better into personal branding. So we're and people get so cattywampus about this personal branding stuff and about branding, because they don't know what it is. They think it has to do with what color tie they wear, or what color shoes there are, or whether they, what catchy slogan they give themselves. And branding really has nothing to do with any of that. Branding is the idea of you that exists in other people's minds. It's what your grandmother called reputation. It's just it's your reputation. It's the idea of you that exists in other people's minds. And the human mind is the most complicated structure in the universe. There's more neurons in your brain than there are stars in the sky. And the entire purpose of the brain, of your mind, is to take the billions of pieces of input that you get, all this chaos that exists outside of your brain, and weave it into a compelling narrative that lets you exist in this world. So story is our native language. Story is what the brain understands. And the idea of you, this brand that your business or you are trying to put out, the story that you tell is just the seed that can grow that brand in other people's mind. It can grow that idea of you. The story is you trying to communicate with another person's brain in their native language. Data points. Don't do that. There's billions of data points. You can't have facts and statistics and all that. It's the story that gives your brain something to categorize you and go, oh, okay, this is what this person can do, and this is how they can help me.
Wow. I've never heard it put that way, and I love it. Story is our native language. Thank you, Terry. Are you guys listening to this? This is fantastic information. Guys and gals out there, tap, tap, tap. Listen, this is great stuff. So what role does a story and content play in marketing and branding, and and ultimately making a sell for all of us?
Well, you again, personal branding, people thought it meant, all right, I have to go on Facebook and I have to do 5 Facebook lives a day, just like we're doing here, or I have to go on and constantly create this content about me. And I have a buddy named Mark Schaefer, who lives here in Tennessee as well, and he's written a book called The Marketing Rebellion. And it's basically we're in a post-advertising age that people are immune to the advertising. They've seen all the advertising tricks before. And now we have all this media where people can communicate just like we're doing one-on-one, or you communicate one-on-one, or you communicate one to a billion. But you have to tell this story to plant the seeds in these people, in people's minds, because the advertising is not going to reach them. You have to some way find a way to weave your life, to weave your story into the narrative that their brain is telling them. And the way you do that is you form the connections. You have to form a connection first. And that's the essential piece that most storytellers, they forget about this. They think the story is me. I got to stand up and entertain. I've got to espouse and be eloquent and tell this story. But it ain't about you, which is the most fundamental truth in the world. It ain't about you. If you're in business, You're in business to help your customers. You're in business to serve your customers. And the story has to be how you serve your customers, how you make their lives better, because you ain't the hero. They're the hero. You want to be Batman. Someone told me the other day, you have to be Alfred. You have to be the wise sage in the background, but you're along for the ride, holding the spotlight up on them. You want them to be the star, and you want to be the one that helps them do it.
Terry, I love that. Don't be Batman, be Alfred.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so cool. Be Alfred. Okay, I'm writing that down because that's quotable. That's something that I want to cross stitch on a pillow or something. that is really good stuff. So, are there any some quick and easy ways to create content? If there's people who really are not very creative. You gotta admit, you run into them all the time. So is there some quick and easy steps that our listeners, who they might be sitting there going, I couldn't write a story or tell a story to save myself. What are some steps we could take?
Well, Rod Stewart sang the song or named the album, I don't remember, but every picture tells a story. So you don't have to be elegant and creative. We all have Facebook. We all have this amazing tool that lets us connect with thousands or hundreds or billions of people. We can connect with the entire universe. We have to be diligent and intentional about making these connections. We have to be diligent and intentional about staying in our customers' lives. And then we just have to create the content. And the content doesn't have to be a full-blown story. You don't have to stand up and write a novel. We're both working on new books. So you don't have to actually be a writer. The simplest thing is number one, put a face on Facebook. They called it Facebook for a reason. So every day people are in their phone, they're scrolling through social media. They check their phone 150 times a day. It's the first thing they do when their feet hit the floor in the morning. It's the last thing they do before their head hits the pillow at night. And they're scrolling through, and Facebook was invented as a device to share pictures. So put a face on Facebook. Put your face on Facebook every day. Just a smile. The best content in the whole world is your smiling face. You don't need a logo. You got a logo. Good Lord gave you a logo. It's right here. Put a smile on it. Put it out there, right? So put a face on Facebook, but it doesn't have to be your face. Look for ways to spotlight your customers. Put your customers' faces on Facebook. If you got a happy customer that just bought whatever it is you're selling, get a testimonial, get a review. That's the reviews are the grand slam, home run, slam dunk champions of content. Get more reviews for other people, from other people, because if I can tell you about a bazillion times how wonderful I am, and I'm a wonderful human being, Dana.
Absolutely.
I can tell you that
know.
a million times. But you're going to take it with a grain of salt, because you're kind of thinking, well, Terry's a little full of it. So you're taking it like this. But if I get 100 other people on my Google reviews or on my Amazon reviews or on Facebook telling you that Terry's the best thing since sliced bread and warm toast, then pretty soon you're going to start to believe it. So get more reviews, post more pictures of you and your friends and your customers. Do what we're doing here. I mean, this is my favorite thing. Interview your customers. Interview other people in your community. You don't have to always be selling, but spotlighting your customers, spotlighting the community, spotlighting the people in and around your business. And I know not everyone's comfortable jumping on the camera and doing what we're doing here, but I've got a buddy who does exactly this in a written format. He finds people that he wants to put their content out there. He wants to feature them in the story that he's telling the world, because they're somehow ancillary to his business. Either they're a customer, or they're in the community. So he sends them a list, 5 written questions. So he'll send them 5 written questions, and he'll take that, and then he publishes it as a Facebook post and a LinkedIn post and puts it on his blog. And it's as simple as asking questions and sharing the answers, taking pictures, putting them on Facebook. Live your life like you're on vacation. Take your camera out and take some pictures. And I get a little grief about this, because I tell people, post pictures of your dinner, post pictures of food. And especially old school guys my age, they go, well, I don't want to put pictures of my dinner. Everybody don't care. Nobody cares what I'm eating. Right. So, but they do. if I have a great steak dinner, I want to tell my friends I had a great steak dinner and where that I got that great steak dinner. That's what
Yeah.
friends do.
Yeah. Yes.
So why don't you, if Dana, I cooked a pot of chili this weekend that will make grown men cry. It
Oh
is,
no.
I mean, it got cold, Dana. It was like 53 degrees. It was like 53 degrees here. I was wearing my little footy pajamas and stuff. Cooked a pot of chili, and you bet I posted a picture of that on Facebook and told everybody I'm eating chili because it's chilly weather. Share your life, be a part of your customers' lives, share their lives, and just weave your stories together.
Yeah. Wow. That is so good.
The life you live is the story you tell the world. I mean, everything's a part of the story, and social media is a highlight reel, and especially for content creators like us, the content you put out, that's all the highlight reel, but it's still part of the story. Just tell the story and just add the little elements that whatever is amusing and entertaining to you, it's probably amusing and entertaining to people like you and people who you want to like you. So just be a little more. I'm a horrible introvert, and nobody believes me when I say this, unless you understand that if I'm on a camera, or if I'm on a stage speaking, or if I'm in a room training salespeople, it's just me talking, espousing, spewing my line of stuff, and I can do that all day long.
Yeah.
You put me in a room with some kind of a cocktail party where there's 7 people at once, I kind of shrivel up like a wallflower in that.
Oh,
So you have to find your spots and put that story out there, and that the story doesn't necessarily have to be exactly what reality is, but here's the truth: if it's far off from reality, people can smell a lie. Right. If you're handing it to them, they smell it like bad cheese. If you're just out for trying to get in their pockets, they can tell. So as long as you're being authentic and telling your story and being yourself, because you are Legion, there's lots of little parts of Dana. You don't have to put them all out there, but put the parts that sparkle and let your shine.
yeah. And a lot of times when I am telling a story in like a keynote or a training, and maybe I did that thing, but lots of times I'll say, I worked with a gentleman named Bob. I love the name Bob. It's such a great name. Everybody who's named Bob, I love y'all. So I worked with this gentleman named Bob, and then I tell my story, but it was Bob doing it. And then other people could be going, okay, I know a Bob. I know someone who, yeah, you know what I mean? Because do you think sometimes you can overdo my story, and you think it's good to add somebody else's example in there, or
it's
what do you
it's
think?
100%. I mean, it's 100%. You want to add other people's stories, and you want to add your story. But I don't get super caught up in the details of storytelling, where you have to go through the hero's journey and you do this. And I was living in a van down by the river, and all of a sudden I drank the magic potion, and now I too can do my own taxes. So, but the story doesn't have to go like that. The story is just you being you, living your life and helping the people that you help, and getting the help from the people who help you. And human beings are social creatures. You didn't do it alone. I know that got to be a point of contention a few years ago when the president said that you didn't do this alone, but you didn't do this alone. There's lots of people helping you along the way. There are only 3 animals in the entire universe that we know of that do what human beings do, and that's function together. Us, bees, and ants. That's it. Those are the only ones that can form large-scale civilizations. It's true. Look it up. I think there's a word for it. Unanimity. I think that's the word. So it's about other people. Your story isn't just about you. It's about you as part of this other people, and how you came together and we did the thing. And if you come along with us, we can do the thing too.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. And my daddy was a great storyteller. I got a lot of my storytelling chutzpah from him. And he always said, if you say it with authority, they're going to believe it. And I think part of that is true. But I think you did point out earlier that you can't you can't pile the beans too high if they're not true, because people will get that. And
Eventually, it might take a while. It might take a while, but most of the time, people have a pretty good BS meter.
yeah. So you want to be, you can, I think you can, make something a little larger. You can make something a little grander. But I think most of the time, if you're telling a straight story and it's beneficial, I don't think you need to add beans to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. Wowie, wowie. So storytelling can change my world, but also my client's world. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I mean, it changes your world, because the best thing you can do for your clients, I told you, I'm in the car business. The single greatest thing a car salesperson can do for a car buyer is not find them the best car in the world at the lowest price in the world. Buying a car is a stressful thing for most people, and they don't really want they don't look forward to it. They're not excited about it because they don't have any friends in the car business. So the best thing you can do as a salesperson, automotive salesperson, that's one of the things I do, is train automotive salespeople, is to connect with car buyers earlier in the buying process, so that they've got a friend in the car business, so that when they walk into the dealership, they're not putting on battle armor like they're going into a fight. They're putting on their party clothes like they're going to see a friend. And the story you tell the world changes your world, because it changes how people look at you. It changes how people respond to you. It changes how people react to the words that you say. And if you tell the right story and you tell it often enough and long enough, you change the way you look at yourself. And then that changes everything more. So it creates, reality is a feedback loop. That's all any of this is. Our brain is creating this narrative, and the more we share this narrative, it changes the feedback loop, and it literally changes the world by concentrating on being the person you want to be, living the life you want to live, and telling the story you want to tell.
I love it. Terry, thank you so much. This is such great information. I think it's a great reminder. Some of us might be going, yeah, I know that, I've heard that. I think we really need to be reminded at this time, so that we can move forward and continue to be successful. We need to change other people's worlds, and we need to change ours by doing great stories. And I just sharing ourselves, I think, makes a big difference. And viewers out there, I just want to say that Terry is being super, super gracious. I love this. If you go to Terry's website, which is terrylancaster.com, I'll put it up on the screen here. If you go to terrylancaster.com, schedule a chat with him about storytelling, why it's important, how you can do it, how you can make content. Even if you are not creative, guys and gals, Terry can help you do this. If you schedule this, you will get his free ebook, 3 Ways to Create More Content, even if you don't have a creative bone in your body. I'm going to call up Terry so I can get that free ebook. That's what I'm doing.
There you go.
And everybody else should too, because stories are so important. I think this conversation with Terry has really highlighted that. So I'd like to share, Terry, I'm going to share your information here. There we go. Terry Lancaster, terrylancaster.com. There you go. Go there, schedule a call, chat with him about how to add stories, how to be creative. Even if you think you can't do it, Terry can help you do it. And get this free ebook. This is fantastic. Terry, thank you for being so gracious about this.
Dana, thank you for having me. I had a blast. Thank you for letting me share my story.
Oh, fantastic. And I love this. And for those of you who don't know me, I am Dana Morgan Barnes. I'm Coach Dana Inspires. You can reach me at Dana at Coach Dana Inspires. And if you have questions about these interviews, questions about what I do, I coach women entrepreneurs to find their value. Women have a tendency to undervalue their services and their experiences and what they can do. So we really want to find your value, find your perfect client, and then we go out and change the world one person at a time. There's my information right down there. Terry, thank you so much. And I hope you hear from people wanting to get up there and find out how to write great content for their stories. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, everyone, for being here. And we'll see you next Tuesday on Business Inspiration.